Once, a disciple asked Ramana Maharshi, "Is self-realization unattainable for a layman like me?" In response, Maharshi narrated the story of the 10 foolish men. Ramana's explanation of the story will be given at the end of the video. The story is as follows. The 10 foolish men were crossing a river. Upon reaching the other shore, they wanted to make sure that all of them had safely crossed the stream. One of the 10 began to count, but while counting the others, he left himself out. The first man said, "I see only 9. Sure enough, we have lost one. Who can it be?" "Did you count correctly?" asked another, and did the counting himself. But he too counted only 9. Everyone took their turn, but all of them failed to find the missing individual. One sentimental guy burst into tears. "One of us has drowned." Seeing them crying, a sympathetic wayfarer inquired about the cause. On hearing the story, but seeing all the 10 before him, the wayfarer guessed what had happened. The wayfarer said, "Let each of you count for himself, but one after another, serially. 1, 2, 3, and so on. After you say your number, I shall give you a tap on your shoulder so that all of you may be sure of being included in the count. The 10th missing man will be then found." The 10 men rejoiced at the prospect of finding their lost comrade. The kind wayfarer gave a tap on the shoulder to each of the 10 as he was counting them. 1, 2, 3, and so on. Then the last man, as he got the last touch, said, 10. Bewildered, they looked at one another. 10, they said with one voice, and thanked the wayfarer for having removed their grief. Maharshi continued, "From where was the 10th man brought in? Was he ever lost? By knowing that he had been there all the while, did they learn anything new? The cause of their grief was not the real loss of anyone. It was their own ignorance, or rather, their mere supposition that one of them was lost." He tells the disciple, "Such is the case with you. Truly, there is no cause for you to be miserable and unhappy. You impose limitations on your true nature of infinite being and then weep that you are but a finite creature. Then you take up this or that spiritual practice to transcend the non-existent limitations. But if your spiritual practice assumes the existence of limitations, how can it help you to transcend them? Hence I say, know that you are really the infinite pure being, the self. You are always that self and nothing but that self. Your ignorance is merely an imaginary ignorance, like that of the 10 fools about the lost 10th man. Know then that true knowledge does not create a new being for you, it only removes your ignorance. Bliss is not added to your nature, it is merely revealed as your true natural state, eternal and imperishable. The only real way to be rid of your grief is to know and be the self. How can this be unattainable?" Maharshi concluded his response here. Remember, you are always that self and nothing but the self.